I'm back in another stairwell.
If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, like, I honestly feel bad for you. Like, I cannot.
Hello, I'm back with a new OPP video. If you're new here, my name's Marcel and it's a series I started where I take over a room in other people's places. I usually just do projects around my house, but sometimes my subscribers hit me up to take over a space in their house, and that's what this video is about. I've done a few of these before, so if you want to check any of those out after you watch this one, I'll put a link to them up here or there or wherever it goes. But anyway, Ashley got in touch with me because she wanted to see if I was down to give her stairwell some love. She told me she was really into the Trisha Anderson stair runners that I did in our house, and she wanted to do something similar. Plus the old carpet on there is definitely not the vibe for her and her family. I've been sourcing and sending her a bunch of runners that are a bit more budget friendly but still colorful and fun, and Ashley's also been searching and she found this one, so that's the one we're gonna go with. I'm gonna get straight into the work since we already have that all figured out, but you'll definitely be meeting Ashley later in the video. I already went over to their house to just get a vibe of their aesthetic, and I was able to pull up a corner of the carpet to take a peek at the wood to see what kind of condition it was in, and it looks like it's pretty good. But today's the day I gotta rip out all the carpet on those stairs to see if I'm right. So I'm gonna stop blabbing so I can head over there and get to work.
Other people's places with Brew City builds.
Woo! Luckily I pulled up the corner of the carpet before, so it came out pretty easily. Then it was that old padding. I pulled up the carpet and the padding on each step. It was nice that they put in each individual step so I wasn't pulling out some giant piece that I had to deal with. The bottom was a few steps, but still manageable. And the last of that old padding. The landing had some carpet tack strips, so I removed those with a crowbar and a hammer. And then it was just removing the thousands of staples. There wasn't really that many, but it felt like it. The stairs were a little bit squeaky, so I fixed it as much as I could. I just drove some 2.5-inch screws into the top of the rise of the steps, so that way it felt a little bit more solid. I put 3 in each step. And then I filled those holes with some wood filler. While that was drying, it gave me a little bit of time to talk with Ashley about what she wanted to do with all this old paint on the steps. All right, guys, I got Ashley here. All right, guys, I got Ashley here.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Okay, so the carpet's out, which is good news.
Mm-hmm. Finally.
Yes. The bad news is that there's paint all over the stairs.
My poor stairs.
So we have 2 options here. The first one is for me to completely sand down all the steps, right? The problem with that is that your bedrooms are upstairs, so it would kind of limit your access to being able to walk on the stairs when the stain's on there and the poly is drying. I mean, unless you guys wanted to move down here for a week, which I don't think
sounds
you want
awful.
to do. Yeah. Okay, great, great. So what I can do is just stain the sides, sand that down, stain it, do the poly so you still have access up the middle and you can still get into your bedrooms and all that stuff. So does that sound more like something you would want to do?
I think so. I think with the runner covering the center of the steps anyways, it's perfect.
Exactly.
And it'll work for me and the kiddos, so
exactly.
sounds good.
No one is going to see it, first of all. I mean, it's not like ideal. Like whenever I do something, I really like to make it beautiful and perfect. But I think in your situation and with the kids and everything else, I just think it's better to...
Yep, agree.
Great. Well, I'm going to get to work on that and then we'll get the runner in.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Excited.
Yeah, me too. Once I knew what Ashley wanted to do, I got to sanding. I started with 80 grit sandpaper disc to get off that finish and all that old paint splatter. And then I used 120 grit disc to smooth it out. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I am not a big fan of dust, but you gotta do what you gotta do. After I got all that cleaned up, I went in with a pre-stain and then the stain. I applied 2 coats of stain with the foam brush. And then it was a coat of poly with a new foam brush to seal it. I'll put a link to everything that I'm using in the description box if you want to check it out. Okay, all the dirty work is done, so I can finally get to putting in the runner. I started by measuring the length of the landing, making sure to include the stair nosing since I attached the other end of the runner under that. Once I had those dimensions, I measured it out on the runner. Then I struck a line with the level to make sure my line was straight. I used a box cutter with a fresh blade to make a nice clean cut, And I also used a scrap piece of wood to make sure I didn't damage the floor. I used carpet tape around all sides and the middle. Then it was time to put it in place. I cut these little spacers out of a 2x4 to make sure that it was centered. And then I gave it a good press to make sure that that carpet tape was sticking. I did a staple about every 4 inches with my staple gun. I used 7/8 inch 18 gauge narrow crown staples. Again, I'll link all this in the description box. I also use these clamps that are really helpful for gripping around that stair nosing. Here's a better angle of me measuring so you can see that stair nosing. Again, I measured, cut, and used carpet tape for that following step, and went through the same process again with the staple gun. I will say that you gotta pinch the fibers open to really get down to the backing of the runner to make sure that the staples aren't sticking out. From there, it was just getting a rhythm, and then I went all the way down using the same process. This was a little hard on the hands by the end, but I wanted to make sure that it was super taut. The last thing I had to do was put a bead of caulk on each side to clean up that trim. I put painter's tape down because I wanted that line to be extra sharp. All right, the stairwell is done.
Thank you very much.
I asked Ash if she would paint this wall white instead of that pink, and now everything is popping. So yeah, let's take a look. So what do you think of the stairwell?
I am so in love. I was a little nervous about the pattern and just how bold it was, but it turned out better than any of us could have imagined. So we're really excited. Kids love it. The husband loves it. I love it. So thank you for pushing me to think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm really happy with it too. I think it goes, with the house so well, and I think it's perfect. Thanks for letting me do this, and hopefully I get to come over again and check it out, see how it's lived in and everything.
The kids fell in love with you, so you're stuck with us.
They're so sweet.
Yeah, and thank you again. It's the heart of the house, and we really appreciate it, and we're really excited to have a piece of Brew City Builds in our home.
Ah, that's nice. Thank you.
Thanks.
It's always fun to meet new sweet Milwaukee peeps. I'm really happy that Ashley's into how everything turned out. The runner definitely goes with the flow of the house, so I think it's good. Anyway, if you're still here at this point, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I would love to hear what you think about it, so let me know in the comments, or if you have any questions about anything, you can also leave them there. If you were into this video, I would love if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to do that as well. Oh, and if you live in Milwaukee and you want me to take over a space in your pad, definitely hit me up. All right, that's all I got, so I will see you very soon. Bye. What I can do is just sand and stain and poly the sides since... Right,
Okay.
no, you're fine. So what I can do is...
You're so cute. I love you so much. I'm so sorry. Okay.